Episode 34 of Raw Sport. My name is Ahmed Al Houli. Mr. Sheen, we have a huge guest today.
You say that every week, but I must admit we do have a huge guest today.
Absolutely, mate. Jason Moloney, welcome to the show, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, really good, guys. Thanks for having me on, mate. Appreciate it.
Now, Jace, where do we find you these days? Which state of Australia are you currently in?
Northern New South Wales now. I live in Benora Point, which probably not too many people know where that is, but I'm 10 minutes away from the Gold Coast Airport, but I'm a New South Waleser. So yeah, right on the border there. Beautiful part of the world actually, and this is where I've been for the past 7 years. Originally a Melbourne boy, grew up my whole life in Melbourne, but made the move 7 years ago to come up here and train with Angelo Hyder. He's based in Kingscliff, so yeah, we moved up here to train with him, and it's been a wild ride, but it's been beautiful, and moved up here obviously with the hope of becoming a world champion, and here we are. About to make my second defence, so it was a good move.
So you're with your beautiful partner Georgia and daughter?
Yeah, that's right. I got Georgia, my partner, and two beautiful daughters, Isla, who's 5, and Billy, who's 2. So yeah, the crew's expanded since moving north, but mate, it's good, and life's awesome.
Isla, Toby Green just named his daughter Isla about 6 weeks ago, Ahmed.
Yeah,
Wow.
apparently it's one of the most popular girls' names at the moment. But when we named our daughter Isla, I think I didn't know anyone else with the name, so I think we started the trend. They're all copies.
You've led the charge, mate. Now, just to digress for one moment,
Yeah.
You're a Victorian boy. You grew up in Mitcham. Who do you support in the AFL world?
Funnily enough, mate, I'm actually a Sydney Swan supporter.
Jeez.
Even though I grew up in Melbourne, the rest of my family's predominantly Carlton. My old man's a Carlton Blues supporter, and I was a Carlton member as a youngster. But I fell in love with a man named Plugger Lockett and Paul Kelly, and I jumped ship. I didn't realise that the Swans were based in Sydney and that I wouldn't get to watch them play too often. But I loved Plugger, and I used to run around as a junior with the number 4 on my back and try to snag a few goals myself.
So, who's your favourite player now of the current group?
I don't know, mate. I've actually fallen away from AFL a little bit. I still love the game, but boxing takes over. You move up to a state that no one really talks about or watches too much AFL. So I've fallen out of the loop a little bit, but I still like to get around the Swannies when I can.
Oh, Ahmed, we might have to get Isaac Heaney to send him a jumper.
Yeah, he's a gun, mate. Go for it. I'll wear it with pride.
He's a machine, Isaac. But anyway, let's get back into the boxing. You've got a huge fight coming up in Japan on the undercard of the Inoue and Neri fight card, expected to sell out 55,000 people. Mate, apparently you're a bit of a superstar in Japan. I mean, we're hearing you're a bit of a crowd favourite. How did that come along?
I don't know if it's a superstar yet, but hopefully after May the 6th, I'll be a superstar over there, and they'll still appreciate me and like me even after I beat one of their homegrown talents, Yoshiki Takei, who I'm fighting. So, mate, I went over to Japan last January for a training camp. I spent 3 weeks over there in Osaka, and I didn't realise that I was fairly well liked over there, and had quite a few people stop me for photos and autographs and message me and want to catch up, and they were catching the bullet train and traveling 3 hours just to meet me and get a photo with me. And mate, they really made the effort and showed some love, which was pretty awesome. The sort of support that it's hard to even get in Australia, in your own country. So it was a bit of a shock going over there and receiving so much love. And since we've announced that I'm fighting in Japan at the Tokyo Dome, I've had a huge amount of support from the Japanese boxing fans. So hopefully they like what they see, and I put on a great performance, and we grow the fan base even more over in Japan.
Hey, Jace, where did the fan base in Japan emanate from? How did it come about?
Well, I fought their superstar, Naoya Inoue, a few years ago now in a world title fight, which was actually in Las Vegas at the MGM. But unfortunately, I come short against Inui. But he's pound for pound probably the best fighter on the planet at the moment, and he's an absolute superstar over in Japan, and they love him. And obviously, they appreciated what I brought to the fight. They admired, I guess, my heart and my fighting spirit, and the effort I put up. And I really came to win that fight. A lot of guys, probably shy away from fighting the monster, as they call him. But I really wanted the fight, and I went in and gave it absolutely everything I had. And obviously, as I said, I fell short. But I think they just appreciated my effort, my fighting spirit, and I gained some fans, which was good.
Well, speaking of Inui, he was one of your only 2 losses out of 29 fights.
Yep.
And the 2 losses, you both fought in the month of October. So that's just something for your promoter just to shy away from next time.
That's a good one, mate. I didn't realise that. Yeah. All right, October's off the cards. But 2 losses. I thought I won the first one against Emmanuel Rodriguez. That was my first crack at a world title.
Very stiff.
I lost a split decision, but it was a close fight. It could have gone either way, but I thought I'd just done enough. But yeah, I've got the 2 losses in the 29 fights, as you said. Both were against undefeated world champions at the time, so only the best have been able to beat me. And I stuck at it, and third time lucky, I became a world champion in my 3rd attempt. And this is coming up to my 2nd attempt at defending that belt now. So I plan on holding on to it for a long time to come.
You're defending a world title, Jason. Why would you go to Japan? Sorry, just excuse my ignorance.
Yeah, it was a tough decision, mate. I was supposed to be in line to fight on the Kambosos Lomachenko card, which is in Perth, only a week later. That's on May the 12th. And, it obviously, was pretty attractive to me to have a world title defence in Australia and really get the country behind me and have that defence here. But you got to weigh up all your opportunities, and a great opportunity came from Japan to go over there and fight on the biggest event in Japanese boxing history at the Tokyo Dome in front of 55,000 people. And it's just a massive opportunity to go over there. Boxing in Japan at the moment is absolutely booming. They're putting on huge shows. This show alone has 4 world titles on the one show. So they're doing big things over there. And I was pretty keen to make my mark over there and go over there and take this opportunity and create a name for myself and grow the fan base worldwide. And then hopefully the homecoming, the Australian world title defence, that'll be there. I can come back and do that anytime as long as I keep retaining the title. That Australian, home soil defence will always be there, whereas this opportunity was sort of once in a lifetime. This is the only the 3rd boxing event they've ever had at the Tokyo Dome. And, to have the opportunity to fight in front of 55,000 people was something that excited me. And, we jumped at the opportunity.
Jason, is this life-changing opportunity, is it going to be, obviously, we want you to win, but if you are victorious on the night, is this life-altering type of purse?
Look, in this fight, mate, it's not life-altering purse. It's good money. They got some good backing over there in Japan, but no, unfortunately, the lighter weights, the bantamweights, they don't seem to get paid what we deserve. But it's a good step forward, and I know that that a win here will take me to that, proper money where I'll receive the fruits of the labour of 20 years of hard work, and it'll all start to pay off. But just got to make sure I win this one, and it'll open some big doors.
Jace, do you believe Japan's becoming the home of the lighter weights?
Yeah, that's sort of the way it seems to be happening at the moment. Obviously, America's been such the home of the big fights for so long, and now in recent times, Saudi Arabia and Dubai, they're putting on these huge fights for the heavier weights. But Japan's really taken to the lighter weights, and obviously the success of Naoya Inoue, who's a superstar over there, and he's a super bantamweight. They're starting to become a bit of a home for the lighter weights, and there's 2 other champions in my weight at the moment that are both Japanese. So I'll win this one here, and then we can set up some big unification fights against the other Japanese fighters and other Japanese champions. And yeah, I can see myself basing and having quite a few fights over in Japan for the next few years. Shall I get past this challenge on May the 6th?
Your loss to Inouye, obviously he's a bit of a killer. How do you pick yourself up mentally from a fight like that? I mean, you guys have always been the ultimate professionals, but even like the ultimate professionals find it hard to sort of recover. I think. Can you just share with us, take us down that journey there? I think that's something that isn't spoken about much.
Yeah, it was a hard one, mate. Obviously, after I lost my first world title attempt, I was pretty down in the dumps. And as a fighter, that these opportunities to fight for a world title, they don't come very often. And you can be fighting and at that top level for so long, but those opportunities can escape you, and your prime years can quickly tick by, and you don't get the opportunities. And there's been some great fighters over the history that never became a world champion. So when I lost that first one, that really kicked me in the guts. But it did, because it was such a close fight. It also gave me that belief that I belong at this level and I can become a world champion. I just need to keep improving, keep working hard. Obviously get myself back up the rankings and back into contention for a title shot. But I knew that my time would come again. And then obviously the great opportunity arose itself to fight Naoya Inoue. And, lots of people maybe would wait out and play things smart and wait out for perhaps a weaker champion to come along and take your opportunity against someone who's perhaps a lot more beatable. But I loved the idea of fighting Inoue, and I knew that a win against a guy like that would have just catapulted my career. It would have become a star overnight. He has so much hype, and rightly so, around himself and what he's achieved in the sport. So I jumped at the opportunity, said, nah, I know I can wait it out. And, I was rated #1 in the world in 2 of the organisations. But, nah, let's take on the best of the best and roll the dice. And unfortunately, I didn't win the fight, and it hurt. Obviously, as I spoke about, it's hard to get these opportunities, and you've just missed out on your second attempt at a world title. And how long is it going to take for me to build back up and get myself into contention for another title shot? So that's what hurts, is that, the time it takes. And when you fight at that top level, you're making okay money, you can get by. But then when you lose a fight, you go so far down the rung, and your pay gets cut in 10, and then it you can be hungry enough to keep going and rebuild, but financially it kills you to go back to that fighting on the small hall shows and trying to sell tickets to cover your purse and making peanuts for a fight. It's really hard to rebuild. And when you're at that stage, I think I was about 30 years old, and didn't really have too much to show for myself. Didn't own a house yet, and I had a young family to support. And you can say, look to your family, I want to roll the dice again and rebuild and regroup, but you go back to earning no money and being in a very tough financial situation. Luckily for myself and some fighters, I have some great sponsors that have backed me since day one and have allowed me to stay on track and train full time, and allowed me, I guess, to be able to rebuild. And I racked together 3 good wins after the Inoue loss and got myself right back up the ratings, and then earned myself another world title shot against Vincent Astrolabio, which was in May last year. And as we said, that rebuild period that took nearly 2 years to get back into that world title picture, that was tough. Financially tough, hard to keep trying to rebuild and win when these opportunities are few and far between. But then when I got that opportunity to fight Astrolabio for the world title, I knew that it was just win at all costs. Not many fighters get 3 opportunities to achieve their dream and become a world champion, and I knew that was it. That was the last roll of the dice. If I had lost that world title fight, your odds of getting 4 chances are very slim. And as I spoke about, going back to the drawing board and going back to the rebuilding phase where you're earning bugger all. I couldn't afford to do that at 33 years old. So that fight was win at all costs. And luckily, third time lucky, I achieved the dream and became a world champion. And now, as important as ever, I can't afford to lose because I've worked so hard to get to this position that I can't afford to let it go. This belt is what provides a future for me and my family, and I've got to make sure that I hold on to this belt for as long as I can and walk away from this sport with something to show for it, and know that I got absolutely everything I could have out of this sport. I've given my life to it and dedicated myself and been a true professional for so long. I've got to make sure I walk away from this sport knowing, one, that I've achieved everything I could have, and two, hopefully something to show for it and provide for my family with.
Wow. Many years ago, I'm going to take you back now down memory lane. I remember when you were fighting in the amateurs, a huge article came out about you and your brother. You were playing a different sport as well as boxing. I can't remember the sport, but I can remember that you had to choose between that sport and boxing.
Yeah.
Was it AFL?
Yeah, AFL. Yeah.
Did you make the right call?
Oh, 100%, mate. You don't see too many 5'5" AFL players these days, but yeah, that was early days, and like this AFL may have never been on the cards at all. As I said, 5'5", but me and my twin were decent junior footballers. I'm not going to say I was going to be the next Dusty Martin or anything, but we were decent junior footballers. But we were juggling. We initially started boxing because we wanted to get fitter for footy, and thought that would help our chances of excelling and getting a bit of a foot up on the rest of the competition, and taking us to the next level as footballers. That's why we started boxing. But then we fell in love with boxing, and we started to try and juggle the both. And the amateur fights were always on a Sunday, and we were playing junior footy on the Sunday. So we were constantly having to make the decision: do you want to take this fight, or do you want to play footy? And a few times we'll take the fight, and the footy coach wasn't getting too impressed that we were missing games of footy. But because we were juggling the two sports, we were only able to box, do like boxing training like twice a week. And I lost my first 3 fights, and Andrew, my brother, he lost his first 7 fights. And that's when we knew we got to make the call here. Obviously, juggling the two sports and only being sort of half in, half out, it's not working. So we either give boxing the arse and we concentrate on our footy, or vice versa. And we both said, nah, even though we weren't having much success, we love boxing. Let's give up footy and let's concentrate on boxing 100% and start training 5-6 times a week, and quickly turn the results around. And a year later, after that decision, we were both at the Commonwealth Games representing our country in Delhi at the Commonwealth Games in 2010, and the rest is history. We made the right call, and both so fortunate that we get to box for a living at the moment. And I'm a world champion. Andrew's looking to become a world champion again a week after, on May the 12th, and we certainly made the right call.
Jason, who was the better junior footballer out of you and Andrew?
He'd say him, I'd say me, mate.
Both like Rovers?
We had our years. I was a bit more of a forward, as I touched on earlier. Plugger Lockett was my man, and I liked to be a bit of a goal sneak. I was up forward a bit more, but Andrew was more the rover and in the middle and probably getting a bit more of the action. So I don't know. We were both pretty good, but I don't know. I'll say me. He'll say him.
Jace, the next fight against I can't say his name properly, unfortunately. Yoshiki Takai.
Yeah, Taki. I'm not too sure, but
Taki.
yeah.
He's 8-0.
Yeah.
You're an experienced world champion. Is this a dangerous fight? Is it one of those situations where they're nurturing a certain prospect and they're trying to pretty much take the belt off a current existing champion? Are you Why I'm asking this is because usually when you go to foreign territories, they have all these little tricks up their sleeves. They do things with the ring mat, and they make things uncomfortable and so on and so on. The Japanese like that, or are they a bit more ethical than the Yanks?
Nah, they're pretty ethical and proud people, I believe. But have you guys got me all right? My picture seems to have frozen. Have you got me all good?
Yeah, no, all good, mate. All good.
Cool.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
wanted to check. So yeah, look, on paper, you know, as you said, this is my 30th professional fight, and you see this guy's coming in with only 8 fights under his belt, but he's come from kickboxing. He was a K1 world champion and a bit of a star over there as a kickboxer. So I guess they're trying to move him forward pretty quick and
Yeah.
put him in against 8 guys. He's knocked them all out. He's won, and I don't know. I mean, his team obviously believe in him, and they've put him in, and they think he's ready for a world title fight in only his 9th fight. It's up to me to show him and his team that they've made the wrong decision, and he's not ready, and they're taking quite a few steps too far, and trying to move him too quick. But look, it's a bit of the unknown because, yeah, I've seen some of his footage, and he's looked good as a professional, but he hasn't been in the ring with world level operators yet. The guys he's come up against, he's knocked him out, so he's done his job. But yeah, now it's about really testing him and seeing how good this guy is. And he's got a tricky style. You know, he's a pretty tall, rangy southpaw. He jumps in with these wild punches from sort of quite long range. So he's got a few tricks up his sleeve, and I've just got to make sure that I'm at my best and on my A game. And I've had a great preparation. I flew 3 different fighters over from Japan, all tall southpaws, to help me get ready for this fight. So yeah, I've really prepared properly over here in Australia and brought in the guys that are going to test me, and they've made me work every day, and I've had these guys here for 6 weeks now, and I've done a lot of rounds and put in a lot of hard work, and it's all really going to plan. My progression over the past 6 weeks has been huge, and I'm excited for the fight now. Only a few days till I fly out and leave for Tokyo, and I'm certainly ready to go.
So what do you do when you get on the ground, Jace? Like, does the language barrier bother you? Do you go straight into camp? Do you relax? What do you do?
Well, essentially all the hard work sort of done once we get there. And I'm going to have my last sparring session on Friday, and then that's sort of the hard work done. And fight week's really dropping a bit of weight, which is never fun, but it's about refreshing, tapering off, sharpening right up, and keeping those energy levels high, and going into the fight fresh and feeling as good as you possibly can. So I've actually got a stablemate of mine, Yota, who is from Japan, who moved over here 2 years ago to train with us, and he's coming with us. So he's going to be, I guess, the bit of the translator and break down that language barrier. He's going to help me with any bits and pieces that we can, whether that's sorting out the right food that I want to eat during the week, and yeah, he's really going to be a great help. And so he's going to sort of look after us and be our Japanese teammate. But yeah, once we get over there, mate, I'll just be checking into the hotel at the Tokyo Dome, and we'll still train and sort of sharpen up a little bit. But as I said, the hard work's done, and that's what's sort of been good about fighting in Japan. It's only a short flight. It's only a 1 hour time difference. Whereas over the past few years, every time I've fought in America, I've spent a month in America before the fight, making sure that I've adjusted to that time difference and done acclimatized as best you can. But yeah, this time it's quite nice. I can do all the hard work here and just go over to Japan ready to go and get ready for business.
Will AFL legend Jonathan Brown be walking you out?
Mate, he's not making the trip to Tokyo, unfortunately. He's got selfishly, he's got his Fox footy stuff to look after, but he is going to be there the week after in Perth to watch my twin brother and probably carry the flag out in Perth. But just Brownie. a small crew of Aussies going over for this one, but that's all right. We'll go over there, small little army. We'll get the job done, and we'll come back. And I'll obviously fly straight to Perth and watch my brother, and then we can have the big team joint celebration then.
Awesome. Jason, well, we wish you all the best. I mean, we'll be definitely cheering for you and wish that you can, get that decision and come back to Australia victorious, having defended your belt. Tony, before we sort of wrap things up, you got any final questions for Jace?
Yeah, Jason, in 14 days' time when you're victorious, we want to speak to you again.
I'd love to, mate. That'd be great. I appreciate you guys having me on, mate. And yeah, it's good to get some publicity. It's hard when you obviously so many of my fights are on foreign soil. Be it America, Canada, my last fight, now Japan. Don't get so much recognition or love, and it's important for me to have the country of Australia behind me. So I appreciate you guys talking to me and helping promote the fight.
Well, where can all your fight fans watch the fight? It's
going to be on KO Sports or main event on pay-per-view. It's on a Monday night, strangely, so everyone can sit back on a Monday. And as I said, the time difference isn't too rough, so I should be on at roughly 8 p.m. Monday night. Everyone can just kick back and watch me bring the title home, and look to do all proud.
Well, best of luck. Best of luck. Fly the Aussie flag, and we'll be cheering.
Thanks, legends. Appreciate it.
All right, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Tony. We'll catch everyone on the next episode of Raw Sport. Take care, everyone. See you.